You walk through life, unaware that something immense, almost unfathomable, rests quietly inside you. It's not a myth. It's not a metaphor. It's something real, a power that's invisible to the eye, yet absolute in its effect. And every day, more and more people lose touch with it. Not because they're broken. Not because they're incapable. But because the world constantly tells them to seek everything outside themselves, instead of turning inward. You don't need to chase power. You are power, waiting to wake up, to be pointed, shaped, and brought to life. This isn't some sugar-coated pep talk. It's not soft inspiration wrapped in poetic language. It's the architecture behind how your reality is formed. Every single thing you desire, resist, or draw into your life, those patterns are shaped by one thing, your thought energy. And it always begins the same way, quietly. It starts in imagination, in stillness. Then, without fanfare, it finds form. See, your mind isn't just a passive sponge soaking up experience. It's a radiant hub, a broadcasting station constantly shaping the events around you. When you finally understand how to use that power intentionally, reality stops being something that just happens. Instead, you begin to shape it. Reality begins to happen through you. Beneath every moment in your life, there's a current flowing, silent, calm, persistent. It doesn't scream for your attention, but it guides everything. And that current is thought. Most people, rushing through their days, don't stop to realize this. They think situations arise from coincidence or from action. But the real beginning is always in the unseen, the hidden workshop of the mind. Like the roots of a tree, invisible beneath the surface, quietly dictating how its branches will grow, your thoughts determine the shape of your life long before the circumstances show up. This power that lives within your mind? It's not fantasy. It's not just a flash of inspiration. It's the actual stuff your experiences are made of. Think about an architect. They don't build blindly. They follow a blueprint. Your thoughts, your mental images, work the same way. They're blueprints. And life itself is the construction crew. This isn't just metaphor. It's mechanical. Every thought you hold becomes a mold. And the universe, neutral, intelligent, endlessly responsive, pours its raw material into that mold without question. It doesn't ask, is this a good idea? It just responds to the form you've supplied. You think, and by thinking, you direct the flow of limitless potential. But how often do you really stop and consider what you're projecting? We move through our days reacting to things, barely ever checking the lens through which we're seeing our lives. And if that lens is blurry with fear, worry, or lack, the results will match that. They have to. Life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you consistently think. Not the words you say out loud, but the patterns you repeat in silence. Ignore this, and you ignore the most powerful force you have. Visualization, then, isn't daydreaming. It's not passive. It's a practice, a deliberate act of creation. You hold the image of what you want. You stay with it, not by force, not with strain, but with calm confidence. Your mind is like a lantern. Whatever image sits in its slide is what gets projected outward. But that image is only clear if the light behind it, the light of your focus and belief, is steady. Most people don't fail because the image was wrong. They fail because their light flickers. Doubt creeps in. They get impatient. They stop believing. And just like that, the image gets distorted. Mental energy is magnetic. It pulls. And that pull becomes stronger with emotional repetition when you feel the thought again and again. But here's the catch, this force doesn't argue. If your thoughts are scattered, if your desires are wrapped in doubt, then the result is chaos. You get a mix of outcomes that don't make sense because you sent out mixed signals. You're the operator. The creative power moves through your belief, not your wish, not your desperation, but your steady knowing. Understanding this is step one. Realizing that your thoughts create is not the same as watching that idea float by. You have to steady your inner world. Take time. Observe what you're constantly thinking, visualizing, expecting. Mental energy isn't some mystical fog. It's the raw material from which everything is shaped. Remember the magic lantern analogy? Your mind holds the image. Your belief lights it. And life becomes the screen that receives it. Without a steady flame, without consistent belief, even the clearest image remains hidden. A desire with no belief behind it? It fades. It never had the power to take shape. Every thought is a mold. Into that mold, life begins to pour. It doesn't stop to question. It simply obeys. The moment you hold a vision clearly, without contradicting it with doubt, something begins to move. Not metaphorically. Mechanically. Something unseen is activated. The world, as you know it, becomes a mirror, a perfect echo of the inner picture you consistently hold. This isn't a feel-good idea. It's law. Thought is the sculptor. Like wind carving stone canyons over centuries, your repeated thoughts carve out the form of your life. Quietly. Unseen. But inevitably. And to work with this law, you don't force it. You don't beg or plead. You align with it. You understand how it works, and you step into that flow. Trying too hard? That's usually fear in disguise. That anxious effort blocks the current. Visualization thrives when you're relaxed, focused, and quietly certain. Here's the story. A man once built a house in his imagination. Every day, he added to it. No stress, no rushing. He filled the rooms with joy, decorated the walls with ease. One day, someone asked him where he got such a beautiful house. He said, "I lived in it before I ever stepped inside." That's the essence of mental projection. You don't wait to see it. You dwell in it mentally until the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Every image you hold is like a seed. It absorbs your energy and grows roots. The light you shine on it, your attention, determines how fast it sprouts. But if you're constantly changing the picture, doubting, restarting, you're like a gardener who plants a seed every day and digs it up every night, wondering why it never grows. Mental projection isn't about repetition for its own sake. It's about consistency. It needs fertile ground, faith, and water, your enthusiasm. Give your mind one clear image. Feed it. Hold it. And the universe will move without confusion. There's no outside condition, no person, no event that can block the creative process happening inside of you, unless you give it permission. The universe doesn't need a specific method or channel to deliver what you've imagined. It doesn't care about the how. Its movement is deductive, it follows direction, not logic. It responds not to history, but to clarity. And this is where your real power lies. Your mind is not just a thinker of thoughts, it's a conductor of power. A quiet chamber where invisible things prepare to take shape. The moment you understand this, mental projection is no longer just a technique. It becomes a skill. Then a habit. Eventually, a way of being. Faith is what carries that power. And faith, in this context, is not wishful thinking. It's not something you clutch when you're scared. It's the invisible current that pushes your vision forward, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. Without faith, your thoughts are like seeds tossed on concrete. But with it, even the tiniest, quietest desire can move mountains. Faith is a magnetic force. It draws toward itself the right people, situations, and opportunities. It stitches together threads that logic can't even see. It activates invisible support. It is not optional. It's the engine behind your image. Here's what many people do. They say they want something, but deep down, they don't believe they'll get it. That's a silent contradiction. And contradiction kills creation. It's like trying to attract with one hand and repel with the other. So the field stays static. Nothing grows. Faith must be one piece. Not flickering. Not conditional. You can't say "I believe" while bracing for disappointment. True belief lives in your body. You feel it in your chest. You see it behind your eyes. You carry yourself as if what you asked for is already waiting at your doorstep. Because belief isn't passive. It's not just agreeing with a nice idea. It's a powerful signal. And when you hold it consistently, the world begins to reorganize around it. Take the businessman who doubled his income without changing his surroundings. What did he do? Every morning, he visualized expansion. He saw himself thriving. He didn't wait for the numbers to change before believing. His belief came first. That's how the law works. Belief leads. Evidence follows. Faith isn't blindness. It's clarity without needing proof. It's seeing the orchard in an empty field. Hearing music in silence. When you operate from that place, your desires stop chasing outcomes. The world begins to move toward you. Even your body responds. Faith calms the nerves, balances your breath, energizes your cells. When your mind stops pulling in opposite directions, everything flows easier. You stop making desperate requests. You start making declarations. There's a quiet strength in assuming what you desire is already forming. It's not arrogance. It's resonance. You're matching the vibration of what you want before it physically arrives. There's a difference between waiting for change and living in it. To live in faith is to live as if the universe is your collaborator, not some silent judge. And this faith, it doesn't need noise. It doesn't shout. Its strength is in stillness. That subtle but unshakable conviction that what you've imagined is already on its way, and your only job is to not get in the way. Faith is not an escape from the real world. It's a rewriting of it from the inside out. Everything begins with belief. The rest is just watching it unfold. There's a deep intelligence built into everything, into the trees, the rivers, even the dust dancing in a sunbeam. This intelligence doesn't use words, but it listens. It responds to the direction of thought, not to the force behind it. When your mind is in tune, when your vision is clear and your belief is steady, nature itself harmonizes with your intention. You're not fighting the world. You're shaping it by guiding the invisible. Look at the sun. It doesn't argue with the seed. It doesn't plead. It just shines. And in that warmth, growth becomes inevitable. That's how your mind should work. When you want healing, don't beg your body. Speak to it. See it. Align your internal world with vitality. Let every thought, every emotion, carry the frequency of wholeness. And the body, in its deep wisdom, begins to respond. Think of your mind like a branch of a central power line. You don't need to scream into the void when you want something. You simply connect to the source. And the clearer that connection, the cleaner your signal, the faster nature gets to work. Disruption comes when you think one thing, feel another, and speak a third. It's static. And nature doesn't respond to static. It responds to clear commands. If your mental image is full of doubt or contradiction, it won't transmit. But if it's coherent, carried with calm confidence, the universe hears it. Instantly. When you think order, you invite order. When you feel peace, peace begins to echo around you. That's not magic. That's resonance. An engineer doesn't doubt whether steel will behave like steel. They know the rules. They use them. You should do the same with your mind. Trust that life responds to clear thought. Don't keep asking whether your desire is forming. Just refine the image. Keep the channel open. This isn't arrogance. This is awakening. Knowing that every form is animated by the same creative power and that it's available to you right now is not ego. It's alignment. Mountains don't move because we yell at them. They shift when we work with the force that moves mountains. And that force is inside you. The question is never, will the universe respond? It always does. The question is, will you speak your vision with the calm clarity of someone who knows they're being heard? Because when you do, life answers every single time. Words matter. Not just as sounds, but as carriers of thought. Energy. Form. When you speak with intention, you're not just talking. You're transmitting. You're shifting the frequency of your life. And this isn't just theory. Look to ancient traditions. They didn't treat speech as small talk, they saw it as sacred. As invocation. The beginning of creation itself. In the beginning was the Word. That wasn't a poetic phrase. It was a recognition of law. Creation begins in vibration. Vibration begins in thought. And thought becomes word. Repeat a word like joy or abundance long enough, with focus, and its signature starts to live in you. It wakes something up. It reorients your reality. But here's the condition: the word must be undivided. If you say peace while secretly fearing chaos, you drain its charge. The universe doesn't respond to noise. It responds to the harmony beneath your words. Speak it. But more than that, feel it. Let the word rise from your core, not just fall from your lips. When you speak with belief, the word becomes creation. When you speak with doubt, it becomes echo. Let your affirmations carry the weight of knowing. Not performance. Alignment. Every circumstance you live has been shaped by a word, spoken or unspoken. The body, the money, the love, it's all been answering. Prayer isn't about pleading with something outside yourself. It's about aligning your mind with the laws that shape reality. True prayer begins not with desire, but with recognition, the quiet certainty that what you want already exists in potential, waiting for your direction. You don't ask from lack. You assume the outcome is already yours. This isn't wishful thinking, it's how creation works. Thought initiates form. When you dwell in the feeling of fulfillment, your image begins condensing into reality. To anchor this, begin in stillness. Start your day when the world is quiet and your mind is clean. Breathe. Center yourself. Then speak your affirmation, not with hope, but with realization. Say, "My mind is a center of divine operation." Let these words carry conviction, not repetition. But planting intention isn't enough, you must also clear the soil. Uproot doubt, resentment, fear. Thought is magnetic, but only when undivided. A mind full of emotional noise sends a scattered signal. Clarity and calm are your greatest tools. Prayer isn't forcing. It's allowing. It's a mental state that aligns with the invisible blueprint behind all form. Gratitude seals this process. When you give thanks before results appear, you're affirming completion. You're telling the universe, it's done. Once your vision is formed, your work becomes holding it. Life will test you. Delay will come. Doubt will whisper. But these are not signs to stop. Like a seed must push through soil, your vision must pass through old beliefs and conditions before it breaks into form. Every thought you consistently hold is like a mold. Each time you abandon or distort that image, the signal weakens. Creation doesn't respond to inconsistency, it responds to focused, persistent clarity. Emotion is the adhesive. Faith, joy, and calm enthusiasm fuel manifestation. Desperation suffocates it. Your vision needs your energy, not your fear. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stay silent. Protect your vision. Don't rush to share it. Let it grow strong in solitude. Treat it not as a distant goal, but as something already alive within you. When the outer world doesn't reflect your vision, don't react. Realign. Reaffirm. Return to center. Resistance is often strongest just before breakthrough. Be like a lighthouse, unmoved, steady, radiant. You're not a passive being floating through chaos. You're a partner in creation. The universal intelligence, call it source, God, the divine, it doesn't operate from favoritism. It responds to your belief, your clarity, your consistency. This isn't about being worthy. It's about being aligned. You are already using this power every day, with every thought and feeling. The difference now is awareness. And with awareness comes dominion, not control over others, but mastery of your inner world. Dominion is not force. It's trust. It's understanding that you don't have to manipulate life. You guide it from within. When your inner world becomes stable, your outer world follows. The person who holds their vision, despite contradiction, despite delay, is the one who shapes reality. Because reality is not rigid. It's impressionable. And it doesn't move with struggle. It moves with alignment. Your attention is your most valuable currency. Where you place it, energy flows. Keep it on what you want. Feed it with belief. Water it with patience. You're not someone searching for power. You are the power expressing itself. Health, abundance, peace, these are forms of thought made visible. Hold the image. Stay faithful to it. And let life catch up. Each day becomes a quiet act of creation. Every word, a stroke of the brush. Every belief, a blueprint. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to strive. You simply have to remember who you are, a thinker, a channel, a co-creator. You walk not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty. You speak not to impress, but to direct. You think not to escape life, but to reshape it. Everything you've ever sought, peace, power, purpose, has always lived within. Now you know. Use it. Deliberately. Faithfully. Courageously. Because life isn't happening to you. You're shaping it from within.